Hello everybody and welcome to another Commands and Colors Ancients game. It's been a while now, my apologies for my long absence, but yeah, I've been a bit busy and some crazy times. So yeah, didn't really have a time to put this one on the board or on the table for a while, but now I'm really happy to continue with the battles of Spartacus, or the Third Servile War. Last time, if you remember, that I think I'm not sure, but it's at least over a month ago I did post something. But then we did the Battle of Brutium, where, if you remember, Spartacus and his slave army did a breakthrough through Crassus' fortified lines and made an escape out of Brutium. So now they have moved northeastwards, and entered Lucania. So the battle we are looking into today is taking place in Lucania, close to Mount Camalatrum, which is the name of this battle or this scenario. I think the battle is also known as the Battle of Cantenna. Anyway, we are in the same year as the one before, and probably this didn't take place too long after the Brutium one, because we are still, seeing the same things here. Crassus is trying to end the war, and he's stressed because he knows Pompey is coming, right? So I think perhaps even at this point of time, Pompey or Pompeius has already disembarked in Italy. I'm not really 100% sure about that, to be honest, but that could be the case. Anyway, what's important is that Crassus, who's actually he's a unit in this battle, or a leader in this battle, Marcus Licinius Crassus is very stressed. He wants to end this and get the glory for winning and ending this war before Pompeius can do it. So for some reason, we have the Gauls and the Germans from Spartacus' army kind of separated, moving in an own column. Not sure why that is, or why that was. Perhaps they were, having different opinions on what to do or what route to take, northwards. Maybe the Gallic leaders want to loot some more before moving northwards, right? Maybe they had some supply problems. They need to spread out to, gather the food and all that to the armies. If they all move on through the same road, maybe it's a more difficult to feed and supply the. This is still a really rather big army moving. The slave army. Anyway, for whatever reason, the Gauls and the Germanic, Gauls and the Germanics in the slave army were moving in a separate column, and Crassus thought, okay, that's a good thing. Then we could probably, since the forces are divided, we could hit them separately. Probably he was thinking, right? So he was aiming to hit and eliminate this part of the army, led by the Gauls. So we have two Gallic leaders here. It's Castus and it says Cannicus here. I think it's more known as Gannicus, actually, from what I have read. So Castus and Gannicus are the two leaders here. And Crassus was, he was thinking of a cunning plan. The Gauls were having a camp here. I think we are close to Camalatrum here, the Mount Camalatrum. I don't know if that's the Mount Camalatrum or that one is. Anyway, the Gauls had the camp close by. So what Crassus did was to send over this guy, Quintus Marcius Rufus. It's that guy there, with a force to do a flanking march and attack the Gauls in the rear, while Crassus would, come from the front, so to speak, kind of on a hammer and anvil plan there. So that was a good plan, of course. Unfortunately for the Romans, the Gauls were somehow they got aware of Marcus' flanking move. It said here somewhere, I think, that some women did see him and warned the army of the Roman approach from the rear. So, okay, that was a bad thing for the Romans, because when the flanking force was approaching, the slave army was prepared for it. So probably they met up, and suddenly the Romans were in a, quite less numbers, because I think in the whole picture here, Crassus' army versus the Gallic and Germanic column, I think the Romans had at least 2-1 in odds here in number of men. So, but since they were sending these attachment out here, or detachment, I mean, they suddenly got outnumbered instead, the Romans, right? So that was a critical moment. Crassus probably somehow learned about these events, that the surprise attack has failed, so he had to force march his army towards the slave army, and actually he was quite successful in that, because then he caught the slave army in between Marcus and his main army here. So suddenly, again, the tide turned, and the slave army was in a critical place, right? So they were now attacked from two directions, and even worse, they were outnumbered as well. So things looked really bad. Then the tide turned kind of again, because Spartacus was approaching. So probably he also learned about the events here. So he take the main column of the slave army, moving hastily towards the battlefield here, and he was able to approach in good time to hinder the annihilation of the Gallic forces. So pretty much the slave army managed to escape once again from the Roman grasp here. But I think, if I'm not wrong, I might remember it wrong, but I think actually both Castus and Gannicus fell in this battle. So the slave army leaders are falling one by one here. And to fast forward the history a bit, actually also Spartacus will fall during the year 71, but we're going to return to that in a later game. Anyway, that was the short story that I know of how this battle went. So you could say that it was a kind of a marginal victory for the Romans, kind of because they held the field, right? But sadly for Crassus, the slave army has escaped once again, and now there is again the risk that Pompey will appear, just take the glory of it. Smashing the guys and then taking the glory of it. So that's where we are. As for a brief description of the battle that we will look at today. So the war council then. So we have the slave army with the leader Spartacus. Well, he's appearing a bit late in the battle, but of course his commands and colors, we seldom see, reinforcements coming into the board. Often we see that all the troops are already on the board when a game starts. But I think it's actually, if you're gonna just take a moment to discuss close commands and colors, a layout of the battlefield. Probably you should not see one hex as a certain length. It could be more where the action is taking place. You could say that a hex is it's another scale than if you look at in the backward hexes. Especially if you look at the Commands and Colors, I think Napoleonics battles. There's all reserves placed on the edges here. They take a few turns to move up, to the action. So instead of then coming in as some reinforcements, they are already on the place, but they are kind of marching to the sound of guns here. And yeah, so what I'm trying to say here is that I think they have solved it really neatly here. So how it works with a kind of a small board if you compare it to other war games, having all the components in play from the start. You don't need to worry about which turn some reinforcements arrive, because they will take their time to enter the battle anyway, and the heat. And that's what I meant. It's kind of I don't know how to describe it, but in my head it's like the closer you get to the action, the more you zoom into the scale, right? And out here, maybe they are moving along roads, more strategic movement happening on the edges of the board. If it's otherwise silent there, if you get what I mean. Anyway, that's just my thoughts. But coming back to this battle again, so Spartacus is on the board already, even though the battle should be happening here first before Spartacus arrives. So in that sense, when you plan a Commands and Colors scenario, you should really think where to place a troop. It's really crucial because it's such a small board, right? Well, again, sorry for that. Slave army, Spartacus, 5 command cards, and they will move first. Roman army, led by Crassus, also 5 command cards, will fight till one side gets 6 victory banners. We have a few special rules. The first one is about this camp hex that it's barely seen here, just in the root of that mountain here. So a Roman unit that captures, occupies the camp hex counts as a victory banner for the Roman player. As long as the Roman unit remains on the hex, it counts towards Roman victory. If it moves off or is eliminated, it no longer counts. So yeah, pretty straightforward. So if we have a Roman unit on the camp, that's 1 victory banner. I think they gain it immediately if they enter it as well. They don't need to wait to the start of the turn to receive it, I mean. Then we have something called the Lucanian Lake, and that's impossible. We have 5 lake hexes up in the upper right corner here, seen from the Roman side. Then we have Marius Legion's rule in effect, meaning Romans can throw their pila in this game. I am Spartacus slave army player rule is in effect, meaning if the slave army plays the I am Spartacus, I think they will get 2 more dice. I need to check that up if that happens, but I think they get 2 more dice in the roll. Then we have not a special rule, but a reminder at the bottom here saying units must retreat towards their own end of the board, regardless where they start. This could be particularly tricky for Marcus and Castus. Yeah, so these guys need to retreat in that direction, and these guys need to retreat in that direction. So they could hinder each other from retreating. That's for sure. Okay, that's it. So quick look at the game board itself. Here we are. So looking at the setup here, I'm seeing a pretty even matched forces, actually. There's no heavy troops, only medium heavies, and I think it's... Maybe we should count them. I think it's pretty even. If we also count the warriors as mediums, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for the slave army. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, the Romans have slightly more, or 1 more medium heavy. The slave army has two auxilias. We have one for the Roman army, light troops, 1, 2 infantry, 2 light infantry here, 1 medium heavy cavalry on the Roman side. Instead, we have 2 lights on the in the slave army side, and also we have 3 leaders in the Romans, 3 leaders for the slave army. So we have Marcus up there, we have Crassus here, and an unnamed leader here. Here we have Spartacus. This is, was that Castus? No, Castus is actually here. So that is actually Gannicus. Yeah. So as you see, pretty even. So that's cool. Then of course the setup is a bit odd, you could say. You could say that both armies have 3 clusters, here, here, and here, here, and over there. So interesting setup. I don't know how really to do this, but if you started thinking a bit about tactics, I think starting with let's start with the Romans then, because they are kind of attacking, right? So a nice thing is, of course, is to get this what is called camp hex there. So I think I want to direct troops toward that immediately. That would be both Crassus himself and Marcus troops. At the same time, we need to worry about our flank here, because we are seeing enemy troops maybe coming through the woods here and can attack our flanks. And you know, we have warriors here, we have lighter troops who can get behind us and you know, close our retreat paths, basically. So it's not an easy task, and there are quite a few troops over there along the camp that can defend it until Spartacus himself arrives. And also it's a bit difficult terrain here for heavier troops to fight, so we'll see. With the right-hand column, I think we need to occupy Spartacus so he cannot intervene too much over here. That's the plan. We try to keep them at bay over there while these guys handle the battle for the camp. Well, that's a vague plan, but something like that, I believe. And for the slave army then, well, these guys of course want to hold up here. They should be a bit worried if Marcus is coming here, and you know, if they get caught between these 2 armies and cannot retreat, they can start losing blocks in a really big speed, because you know, even these guys retreat 2 hexes, so that could be a lot of blocks that cannot retreat and just die. So we need to have the retreat path open. Yeah, it will be difficult. And these guys, Castus troops, I think we want to do what I just said when I talked about the Romans, heading through the woods and attack the flank of the Roman army and rear. That's what I want to do. Spartacus, I think we might, with these 2 troops, we might handle these 2 Roman troops as well. So we could, Spartacus should, I think, engage with these guys. So these guys will probably have their own battle over here happening while these guys fight over the camp. That's how I see the big picture that will happen, because as said, I think these guys can defend that area, and Spartacus will try to get these guys. And it's also an even fight. I mean, we have 3 medium heavies here, we have 3 medium heavies here, some light, some auxilia. Instead, they have these medium heavy cavalry here that can do nasty stuff. But yeah, I think that's somewhat what I want to do here at least, or how I see this battle develop. But we'll see. So, as I said, it is the slave army who starts, even though in my head it's the Romans who are on the attack here, but probably they let the slave army first to react against that flanking force coming. So we'll stop there, and yeah, let's get on to turn 1. Okay, so depending on the cards we'll get, I can see 2 things to do. I want to move these guys into the woods here. Oops. Ready to, you know, just move this board a bit closer to me. In order to start doing these ambush from the woods here. Perhaps the Romans are not even aware that there are slave army troops moving here silently on the flank. So that's one thing. The second thing is, of course, I mean, these guys, I want to try to cripple these guys as much as possible through ranged fire before they arrive to the battle of the camp, if we call it that. So, for instance, we have one unit here that could actually start throwing some javelins from that mountains down to against these auxilia already in range. And another thing that, depending on the cards, if we got a lot on the slave left-hand side, we could start moving towards these Romans, setting up a battle line here, getting our warriors ready to charge to get the first hit on the Romans before they hit us, right? And we have always that mountain we can back up to, and you know, if we want more to be on the defensive, if we do some bad rolls or the attack fails for some reason, we can always back up here. So let's see. We have these cards as a starting point for the slave army. We have a line command and a double time on the second one. That's interesting. So a line command, that could be something we could use over here. Too bad there's a gap here between that warrior unit and the rest, and also that light cavalry there. But even though we cannot activate that in the line command anyway, a double time, well, that will for sure, I mean, double time, they need to be connected, right? Yeah, they need to be in group. I mean, warriors can go three hexes with a double time, so that's really awesome. We might save that for later. I would like to get these guys all in a group so we can do a massive attack. Let's see, but we're gonna roll off for it, of course, first what card we can play, actually. So let's see. We have a C, D, or E, actually, for the slave army, so it's none of these. So in slot C, we have 2 units left. That's good. We could organize these forces before we do the attack. Then we have, oh, another double time. I feel the slave army will get very aggressive eventually. I mean, they can do cover, I mean, big distances and still battle. This is going to be interesting. Then we have an inspired central leadership. We have 1 unit in the center. So yeah, that's Gannicus. So he could, of course, he and 4 units. He can actually order the whole group if he wants with that card, as it is now. Well, pretty cool hand. I think I start a bit slow because we're not in contact yet. So I'm gonna do 2 units left, because now I want to organize these guys for the big clash. So I want to get these guys ready for clashing. I would like, it would be nice to order 3 units. I would like to move all these 3 actually to better positions, but it's not really possible to do. You know what? I will actually do this. Move these guys here and these guys here. Now I have these 4 in a group for a double time. And even though these guys are really long in the background, they can rush up 3 hexes, you know. So they can reach the Romans pretty quickly. So that's all I'm gonna do. Replace the card in slot C, and then we go to see what the Romans... Oh, let's see what they have first of all in slot A and B. They have a coordinated attack and 2 units left. Well, we could start with those guys with the 2 left. And the coordinated attack, well, some skirmishing there perhaps. Some skirmishing here. We could start with a skirmish phase with that. Let's see. That's actually a tactics card or lowest order count. So we don't have any tactics cards up. So I think we need to go with the lowest order count, and that would be 2 units left. Yeah. So it needs to be Marcus gang here. So I'm gonna start a bit easy. I'm gonna throw some javelins, and I will move these guys here. Then we do the javelin throw up the hill. I think that's no dice reduction, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played this game now, so I hope I haven't forgotten any important details, but I think you can throw the two dice up the hill. There's no problem. I think woods is another story. You just get 1 die into there. So we actually got a flag, but these guys are supported, so they just ignore that. Okay. So both sides starting a bit, you know, cautiously here, just reorganizing the gangs. Some testing of fire there up the hill. Nothing happened really. So let's go back to the slave army side. Now they got the A and B. So now we actually could do the double time, or we could do a line command. So with a double time, okay, so the Romans haven't moved up anything yet. I think I might do another turn of preparation here. So I'm going to actually play the line command here. Because since the Romans are in their initial positions yet, I can pretty much only reach these guys who just will evade. I mean, these guys can move here, these guys can move here, and these guys could move here. None of them can reach these guys. So I'm going to take a bit of a step forward here. So these guys will move forward. They can actually throw some javelins. So will these guys, the auxilia moves forward. These guys move to the center. I want to keep them like that so I can have still have that group for the double time. So that's the movement, and then we're gonna throw a 1 die javelin throw against these guys. They are not supported, by the way, but that's a red one, so it's a miss. Okay, this is unfolding to be a bit of a cool. I mean, it's kind of a little tension in the air here. They're just moving slowly forward, throwing some javelins, and you know, these 2 cards spell tension, so there's gonna be action pretty soon. Okay, let's see. Okay, the Romans now see that they're up to something here. Why do they come down from their nice prepared positions up the hill? Why do they do that? They have something in up their sleeve, right? So let's see if the Romans can act over here. So that's a CD or E. So that will be, let's see, a cornered attack. They have 2 of those now. We have a 3 unit center, okay, and we have 3 right. Okay, so we could actually, either we could start moving forward with these guys. We could do a coordinated one, do something on several fronts, or we could start marching up our troops to meet those guys. The bad thing is, though, if we play the 3 here, we really don't have any other good cards to continue the fight here. So if we move up and these guys attack us, probably they are planning to attack us because they are doing this bold move, right? So if this would be a player against player, I would be thinking that the slave army player has a lot of cards on this section, so they want to press on here. So I might want to save my three cards activation here in case these guys attack, because then we can counterattack with that one. So what I think I want to do is actually to want to do 3 center. So I'm going to start moving forward my legionaries. Like this, like this. They will throw their pila, and I go here to anchor this line. So I'm going to throw a pila throw up against that. Well, this is kind of Spartacus' chosen gladiators there. The cream de la cream of his army. But they miss with the pila throw here. Okay. So let's see, where are we? Yeah, slave army. C, D, or E for the slave army. Let's check C, but I think I might play double time now. We also have a medium troops. That could be a good follow-up. But I will go with the double time now. Now it's time to charge. So it's 4 units. Too bad these guys are in the way now. But let me see. 1, 2, 3. Actually, these guys could reach those light infantry there. But yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. It's time. So 4 units. Warriors can go 3. These guys go 2. So I'm going to charge in here. These guys will go 1, 2, 3. Big charge. Hold on. I might actually go 1, 2. And these guys go... Ah, crap, these go only 2. Well, that wasn't that good, I was thinking. Hold on. I think this was the positions I had. So, should we attack here instead? I mean, we could get in these guys here, these guys here. I mean, these guys, the only guys I can reach is the light ones. And I think I might put these guys here then. They need to stop here, but they can still battle. It's only 2 dice, but I'm keeping myself prepared for a counterattack. But these guys... let's attack the flank anyway. So I go here. And I go 1, 2, 3 here, right into the mess here. So I'm actually gonna attack with these guys because that's 3 dice. These guys will of course try to evade, but we roll the 3 dice first, and all green are hits. Nothing. So these guys evaded safely. I think I need to go here because I need to keep that retreat path open. Now, so these guys don't have any target, or they did already. I mean, these guys don't have any target, so we are done with those. I think I want to do it like this. These guys attack here first. Hopefully they will cripple these guys enough so these guys can attack, eliminate them, and attack something more on the baseline here. Maybe even these guys. These guys are in a bad position right now. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I might actually kill this cavalry with a bit of luck. So here comes the first attack. The warriors throwing themselves into the shields of that legionary unit there with 4 dice. They have leader support, so that's 1 hit and the flag. Flag they can ignore. It's only 1 hit. That was quite bad, to be honest. I needed maybe at least 2 hits to be sure these guys could kill them off then. That sucked a bit, but that's how it goes. So they will now battle back with 4 dice. They also have leader support. And as you see, a bit better roll there. 3 hits and the flag. So these guys take 3 hits. The flag they could ignore for several reasons, being supported and being full strength warriors. But since they got so heavily hit, I think they will voluntarily do the retreat. So they bounced pretty hard there on the Roman line. But we have Spartacus himself putting himself in a very dangerous situation. He's kind of isolated here now, but he has the momentum still. So he's attacking here on those crippled Romans and hoping for 3 hits here now. Can you believe it? This is Spartacus. 3 hits, and we actually got these guys. And the first banner for the slave army. Now, we could go in and attack once more. I'm gonna take that chance, even though I'm putting Spartacus into an even more dangerous situation. He can now be... I mean, he can even... Yeah, this is so I don't know. What should we do here? I mean, he can get surrounded pretty easily and destroyed next turn. On the other hand, here's such a juicy target. We could get another banner here with a bit of luck. I mean, we need roll 1 flag, and those are dead, you know. So I'm gonna take that chance. So they're gonna go in, attack once more. Hopefully chase away that cavalry unit in 1 blow. Oh, that's more than enough. 3 of these. So these guys just ride off the board. They got so scared about Spartacus coming too close. So we got another victory banner by that. We could even march down here, but I don't want to get too far away from the rest of the band here, so I'm staying here. Well, that was intense, wasn't it? And Spartacus is showing we will not back up. We will show those Romans who are the best warriors in this area, right? Okay, so Romans. Tactic card or lowest order count. Maybe not the best of the rolls because they have no tactic cards, but actually it's 3, 3, and 3, so they can more or less decide which one to play here. If we want to surround Spartacus, we need to play the coordinate attack, because then we can get these from the center and these guys from the right-hand side and put ourselves here and here. And suddenly these guys cannot retreat. They have Spartacus, so they can always ignore that 1 flag. But I mean, 2 legionary attacks with leader support. These should be, you know, they should be dead. And Spartacus will have a hard time escaping through the Roman lines. Oh, maybe that was too much to go in and attack there, but yeah. Anyway, the Romans, they're gonna play that card. I'm gonna take it from slot A. So here, here, and what should we do on this flank? Maybe we don't need to be that much in a hurry. The Romans sense that they can do these things first and they can concentrate here. So I'm gonna just continue with throwing the javelins up here. So for movement, these guys will move here, these guys will move here, and suddenly Spartacus is surrounded
he went too far and lost his comrades here that were securing his flank. So now he's in a bit of a critical situation here. Over here we start with that one, 2 dice up the hill against that light infantry. And that's a miss. Now comes an important thing here then. So we start from, let's start from here. 4 dice. So of course we have leader support. So that's 2 hits on the medium heavy infantry here. So, and we got also a flag. So we need to check if Spartacus first of all survived or not. Oh, that's a close one. But he survived. So he's gonna battle back. I mean, this could be costly for the Romans as well. Spartacus will not be that easily killed. And this is a really good roll, to be honest. Because look at this. First of all, 2 hits on the Roman legionaries. Then we're gonna check. This is Crassus himself, actually. So we're gonna see if he survived. He did, but it was rather close as well. Now's the problems for the Romans, because Spartacus rolled 2 flags. They can ignore one, thanks to the leader, but they can't ignore the second flag. So they actually need to go here to retreat back. Meaning Spartacus could survive if they are not killed off. But more importantly, if these units are killed off and he survives, he can relocate. Instead of, you know, needing to ride through the enemies there. But we have the second attack coming now by that nameless leader and his legionaries, and that's 2 hits. So Spartacus, chosen gladiators, if you will, got down. We got the first Roman victory banner, and now we're gonna check for Spartacus with 1 die. Let's see if he survived this. He did actually. So he's gonna go back to that warrior unit. These guys could take the ground. They will, because they don't want to be, in their turn, surrounded by the slave army. So, a big clash happening there. Romans lost 1 legionary unit and the legionary cavalry. That was a big blow. Spartacus lost one of his maybe most important units and almost got caught himself, but he survived. Well, that was something. Let's see how they can... Yeah, we'll replace that card first of all. Then we'll see how Spartacus can... if he can still do something here. It's a CDG medium troops, inspired central leadership, heavy troops, bad card. Okay. Oh, this is done, by the way. What should we do? If we play the medium troops, that would be 5 of them. If I would play the heavy troops just to get rid of that card, we could do just 1. The good thing, now no one of the Romans can reach us here, so it's not a critical one to move that guy away yet. Inspired central leadership, yeah. I'm gonna do something maybe a bit crazy, so I'm gonna play the medium heavy troops. That's actually 5. Yes, it's a 5-1. So I'm gonna do something crazy here. And I want to release some pressure here from the center attack. So I'm gonna actually do a charge with the warriors from here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're gonna put some real pressure on the Romans now. Leaving the defense of the camp a bit more weak, but the slave army senses that victory could be achieved here, and we could even afford to lose the camp for a while. We could retake it if needed, but still leave something here that can fight hard for the camp, so that we don't give it away for free, that's for sure. So I'm going to move these guys into the woods, ready to charge. Remember, we have another double time also in our hand. And these guys will charge in now. They're going to do some damage. And here I'm going to actually rush down here and crush those guys. It sounds like the slave army is appearing from everywhere right now. So against the Romans are, wherever they look, they see slave army, crazy warriors charging them, So this must be a hard hit on the morale. Let's start from here. 4 dice, and these guys cannot evade anymore. So flags are really good now. Then we rolled totally bad, so no hits at all. Light infantry battling back, and they of course hit and also gets a flag. What a bad roll by these warriors. I actually gonna move back then 2 hexes here. Oh crap. Okay, let's hope these guys goes better. So here we're gonna attack, and these guys can evade, but we're gonna roll our 4 dice anyway. And there's 1 hit in. So these guys takes 1, then they back off. We cannot gain ground. Then these guys attack that unsupported legionary unit there. 4 dice. Only 1 hit. No good rolls this time. And they will battle back. I was hoping to get, maybe a hit or 2, then a flag. They retreat. We could go after them and hopefully kill them off, but that didn't happen. So in the battle back, they got 2 hits. So all in all, this crazy charge was actually better for the Romans. They killed more valuable troops than the slave army did. Okay. Interesting situation anyway. Interesting situation for sure. But I don't know how to assess the situation here, but I have somehow the feeling that the slave army still has the initiative here. And the Romans are so pressed towards their side here, and we're getting a lot of troops that eventually can attack. So they're gonna be crazy attacks. What we might need to do with the Romans, of course we need to tend to these troops, but at the same time we would really like to see that offensive going now, because now they have only 3 troops here. 2 of them are the lighter type. So we might need to start pressing on with those guys as well. Oh, I have a card to deal here. But let's see. I think I'll stop the session here. So let's see how this continues. Gonna be interesting to see, that's for sure. Yeah, by that I think we're good. So we have the slave army in a lead, 2-1. We're gonna fight till 6 banners. So let's see what happens in part 2. So thanks for watching, and hope you will be back for part 2. Bye for now.